paying somebody else, that way you have time to do something else. And the reason why this skill is so difficult is because it requires a cash outflow from you. And what every entrepreneur or every financially savvy person does is when you start earning money, you want to keep this money for yourself. You don't want to let go of this money, but the whole idea of delegation is you're going to start letting go of this money so you can have some of your time back. Now, of course, the goal is so you can have more money. But it's difficult to conceptualize that as soon as you start earning this money because you work so hard to get it. You don't want to start letting go of it, and you don't know if somebody else can do as good of a job as you. You don't know if somebody else is going to perform like you, and you know that this person is going to 100% take money. So you're going to have to pay a fee, but you don't know if you're going to get any return from it. That's why it's scary. That's why it's risky. But if you ever want to be able to grow and do more things and build more wealth, you have to be able to delegate. The first time I learned about this was when I started investing in real estate. And I remember I would talk to people about this, people that were older than me, about how I wanted to hire a property manager. The reason why I wanted to hire a property manager was because all the real estate books that I read talked about how if you wanted to actually be an investor, you need to be a property manager. And I personally hated the idea of dealing with tenants. I worked in customer service before. I used to work at Auntie Anne's Pretzels, and I don't like dealing with customers in that sense, especially when, somebody's upset. So that wasn't something that I was good at, and I knew I didn't want to do that. Plus, I was also in college at the time. So I wanted to hire a property manager. And I would talk to people older than me about this idea of hiring a property manager, and I got all this negativity out of it that why would you want to pay somebody 10% of your rental income? That's coming right off of the top. You could do it yourself. I mean, how many things is a tenant really going to need? And do you want to know the worst part? The first time I bought a rental property and I had a property manager, my property manager was horrible. They didn't do anything. The tenants had my number directly. Anytime something went wrong, you know who they called? They called me. They didn't call the property manager. So yeah, in the beginning, it was a complete waste of money because they didn't do anything. But I knew that I wanted to be in the business of managing a portfolio as opposed to managing the properties. And the only way for me to focus on growing the portfolio and building a portfolio and not managing the properties was if I could hire somebody good to manage the day-to-day. And that comes at a price. And most of the times when you think about paying somebody else to do something, it is so difficult because number one, you got to pay the money, which is hard. Number two is you got to trust them. And number three, if they screw up, it comes back to you. Well, this is where you got to understand that there's a cost to doing business. And you're going to deal with screw ups. In the real estate space, I've dealt with many bad property managers. I've had to fire many property managers, but I've also found some great property managers. And when you find that great property manager, you know what they do? They make your life a whole lot easier because now they're the ones that are dealing with tenants. They're the ones that are dealing with all the day-to-day stuff. They're the ones that are dealing with contractors. They're the ones that are dealing with the city halls. They're the ones that are dealing with the attorneys. And I get a report every month and every quarter talking about how the properties are doing, what are the renovations that are happening, how much money was made. And now I just monitor what's going on from behind the scenes and you let the property manager do their thing. But in order to do that, you have to understand the skill of delegation. If you enjoyed this clip and you want to continue your financial education journey, I have another video that I think you'll love. All you got to do is click that button right over there. And for those of you who want to stay up to date on the top finance and business news, you can join Market Briefs, my free financial newsletter, by clicking that button below. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.